Robert, do you we're picking apart the turnovers this week, obviously, with the Bucs and you guys struggling to get takeaways. Is there something you guys can do in terms of the cornerbacks to study this more that you haven't emphasized over the last 3 months?
You know, it's I wish there was a magic button you can press. Everybody in the league would push it, and turnovers would happen. But you know, we've had our opportunities, and I know it's very hard to see when you're not winning football games and the results not happening. Is very hard to see. I think we're 15th in forced fumbles, so the ball's on the ground. We're getting balls. We're getting our hands on them. We've had multiple dropped interceptions, and it eventually the tide's got to change, and the ball's got to start bouncing our way. So we just got to keep plugging, keep being mindful of the ball, and the message that Kyle preaches every day, that the ball is everything, and eventually it'll flip, hopefully soon.
Did you guys have an interception? Did K1 have one against the Giants?
I think he did, but Ty always goes to the offense. I felt like he had it first, though, but it's what they called, so it was still a really good play by Fred to get the ball out, and I think Sheldon tipped it. So that's what I'm talking about. You know, we're inches away, we're so close, but it just hasn't bounced our way.
Eventually, obviously, the Bucs are committing turnovers at a near record level. You see this as an opportunity to take advantage?
Not necessarily. I think every day you go out there is an opportunity. Every play, every time the ball gets snapped, it's an opportunity to go get the ball. So I know that they're talking about takeaways, turning the ball over as much as we talk about takeaways. It's something that I think every team in the league talks about religiously. So, you know, it's always a challenge. Can an offense take care of it? Can a defense take it away? So them having turned it over as much as they have is no different than a team that hasn't turned it over. It's another opportunity to attack the ball for us defensively.
No, hindsight is 20/20, but looking back at the way you guys handled Jimmy Ward in training camp, working him almost exclusively at cornerback, or at least in games, do you see the way he's played free safety and say maybe we should have gave him more of a shot there for that starting job?
No, I stand by what we always talk about with Jimmy being a really good football player, and always felt like it'd be easy for Jimmy to transition back to free safety. Obviously, Adrian Colbert finished very strong. Felt like we were good there. Sherman coming off his injury, wanted to make sure that we had a solidified backup for him. So the way it worked out, I don't regret it. I think Jimmy, wherever we put him, is going to be a good football player. So I'm excited for him over these last 6 games and the opportunity he has to really showcase what he is. And if he can stay healthy, he'll have a really good offseason.
Are you guys open to, maybe if Jimmy plays well enough, him solidifying himself as a possible starter the way Adrian did last year?
I'm sure it'll be something that's addressed in the offseason. I love Jimmy. I'm not going to hide that. Obviously it'll come up in the offseason when time presents itself.
You've seen a progression with Richard Sherman, just injury-wise, health-wise, from week 1 to the most recent game?
You know, I think I was just talking to him during a walkthrough. The Thursday night game with a little break, then the Monday night game with a bye week, I think has been really beneficial for him to really solidify his ailment. So he looked really fresh going into the Monday night game and had probably his best game, and he feels really good leading up to this game. So that rest has really done him well, and excited to see him finish out these 6 games also.
What stands out just preparing for a guy like Jameis Winston? Obviously, he's been out of the lineup for a while, too.
Jameis, he's a very good quarterback. I mean, he's going to sling it. He's very aggressive with the ball. Obviously, they've got great receivers. The running back is actually pretty talented also. He's 25. But O-line's good. So it's a challenge. They're number 1 in the NFL for a reason. With as many yards as they can rack up, they can do it in a hurry. So it's going to be a great challenge for us. And Jameis is no different. When he played, I mean, they put 500 up when he was starting quarterback also. So it's no different. They score and move the ball almost at will. And so it's going to be a great challenge for us this week.
What do you see from Ahkello Witherspoon?
You know, Ahkello's getting better. And the thing that gets frustrating sometimes is when you're losing football games, it's very hard for people to see what's right. They all want to point out what's wrong. Why are we losing? They're trying to figure out why we're losing, and So we get lost in the world of what's wrong rather than trying to find out what's right. So with Ahkello, there is, I think he's getting a lot better from his coverage standpoint. I think the whole entire unit has gotten better. Offensively, defensively, special teams, I think we've all gotten better. Ahkello's got to step up and play great in the run game, and from a tackling standpoint, he's got to reconnect himself to what he was doing last year in that regard. So every day you have to own your job, and if you allow things to seep in, people will try to pinpoint it. And so with Ahkello, I do see him getting better. Obviously, like everybody in our organization, we all can find a way to get better. But I see it with offense, special teams, defense. We're all getting better, and I know the result's not there. But when you sit back and really dissect it, and you really look at the team, it's moving in the right direction. It
seems at key moments teams target him, maybe in the red zone or 2 minutes left. If they backs against the wall, they need to play. They go after him. Do you feel at those moments you need to cheat coverage his way or break certain rules of your scheme to force the team to beat you some other way?
We think about it, obviously, for sure. Grant, it's a good question. Sherman gets a lot of respect out there on the one side, and then when you get to Ahkello, I believe in Ahkello. I think he's a really good receiver. I think he played well in coverage. Or some things, obviously, he can do better, but simple things for him to learn on the PI. If he just turns around, that's a great job on not just a good job, but a great job on Odell. And he had a one-on-one on Odell where Odell almost made the circus catch, but he was in good position. Just needs to continue to accelerate through. So he's got the skill set, and yes, to answer your question, you could with coverage and cheating and all that stuff, but at the same time, when you're dealing with a team like the Giants where they've got weapons all over the place, you're just robbing Peter to pay Paul. So it eventually in a 2-minute situation, a one-on-one, it comes down to one-on-ones, and I always go back and look how we can do things a little bit differently or better. But to answer your question, yeah, we could.
Did he play that touchdown pass correctly, the 30-yarder to Odell?
Even in so we should have been in two-man. We were in two-man, and so even with the way we teach our technique, he should still be a lot closer and still get a hands-to-hands and make it a lot tighter throw. We always talk about never, even though you have help, never count on help. Do your job the best you can and keep things tight. It's unfortunate the way it happened, and I wish we can have that one back too. So.
After that touchdown, Kyle said he didn't like the way he reacted, like, hey, someone screwed up here. It's not the first time he's done that this season. Odell's first touchdown, clapped his hands. Anyway. Have you addressed that directly with him?
Yeah, his teammates did. Everybody did. You never want to show up your teammates. You never want to show up the organization. It's no different from a player standpoint, and they never want a coach showing them up either. So mistakes happen. People make mistakes. There's just we get to the sideline, we fix it, and we're a group. We're together. We're a brotherhood. And so he learned. He's still, like I said, he's a pup, man. He's young, so he's going through every day's a learning experience, and he is getting better. And I still have high expectations for him.
Couple more. Him in the run game and tackling, which was a big discussion when he got drafted. And by all accounts, he did well last year. Is that concerning that's probably?
No, with Ahkello, when you watch it and you really watch it, he's trying to go for the ball too much. He's trying to punch out. He's trying to take whacks at the ball, and sometimes it looks really bad when you look at it. Ahkello, just like I stood here last year, he's not a coward. He'll go and he'll hit. He's shown that last year. So he just needs to get reconnected to putting his body in there and getting people down. Don't worry about the ball so much. The ball will be, especially when you're the first person in, the second person is the one who goes and gets the ball. So he'll get himself reconnected to tackling, and he'll put that one to bed like he has a lot of things throughout this entire year.
Are you going to see Tavarius more at cornerback in these final 6 games? You need to see him?
We'd like to. For sure, we'd like to see him. Don't want to play the musical chairs either, so if the opportunity presents itself, we'll find ways to get him out there.
Julian Taylor, where's he coming in?
He's coming along. He'll get his opportunity here very soon.
You have done, like, talking about that, you've kind of placed different players at different positions. Richard Sherman talked about how that kind of is challenging for a young player, particularly DJ Reed, and for Jimmy. Can you talk about why that is? I mean, obviously injuries are part of it, but
So injuries have popped up. Ideally, in our scheme, we do player does the same thing over and over again. And for young guys, when we brought in a guy like DJ, the plan was free safety, backup nickel, mold him into that role, backup free, backup nickel, and if he gets an opportunity to start, he gets an opportunity to start. But it is always challenging for a young guy. Ideally, you would love a guy to play one position every single time and do nothing else, but injuries pop up, things happen, and playing your best 11 is so important to all of us to make sure that your best guys are on the field at all times. And so sometimes you get handcuffed, and the learning curve has to accelerate.
How do you evaluate the approach you guys have taken with Solomon Thomas, and do you feel like you might need to make some changes just in terms of the way he's deployed or the way you're approaching his workload?
With Solomon, it's the same. It really is. Like, you have to understand, like, we're very blessed. We have a lot of really good inside guys. And Solomon, I do believe, is one of our better football players. So to get him on the football field in one form or fashion, especially from a base down standpoint, first, second down, run pass, where I do believe that he's a really good edge run defender, and he does provide some stuff off the edge. On pass downs, we do want to get him inside, but it goes back to winning one-on-ones consistently, and producing at that spot. So he'll get his opportunities here in the next 6 weeks, along with Eric and Sheldon and all those guys. But there comes a lot of impatience when it comes to a number 3 pick, and that's the hard. There's a world of pressure and a world of stress. The pressure that's on Solomon to produce and be his best is what we want to keep him in, because he's got control over what he can produce as an individual football player just by his work ethic and the way he approaches his job. Trying to get him in a stressful world of where now it's about results, that's different. Now you're dealing with a player who's pressing. With Solomon, it just continue to build and grow and get better every single day, and that's kind of where we're trying to keep him in that world of pressure, which he's doing a great job. And I do think he's going to end up on the top end of this. In a world of immediate gratification or satisfaction, patience is non-existent anymore, so he'll be fine.
All right, guys.
All right. Thanks, everybody.